Howie was already informed of the act. Otherwise, why would anyone risk their life? Also, the act was practiced several times with stand-ins, along with the producers of the show giving their approval to perform the same, only after getting to know the key elements of the trick to make sure nothing goes wrong on stage. Now, coming to the secret, the trick consists of two parts. First, the burning candle wax, and second, the blindfolded part. So, how did Aaron's eyes survive the melting wax? Obviously, the candle wax can be very hot, and you should never try this at home or anywhere else. Also, if you see this graph, it shows how much damage our skin suffers when exposed to high temperature. So any wax which has a melting point below 50 degrees Celsius would not damage our skin if the exposure duration is very short. Here, the liquid wax you see must be paraffin wax or bayberry wax, which has a low melting point. Also, if you observe Aaron, he raises his hand and holds the burning candle quite far away from his eyes. So, this gets enough time for the liquid wax to travel, and as you know, it only takes a few seconds for the wax to melt off and harden completely. Thereafter, he had enough time to open his eyes inside the blindfold while it was still warm and malleable. And even if the wax did cool, it was just a thin layer of wax which he easily scratched away from his face. So, this is how he kept his eyes safe inside. Now, for the next part, how did he slice off that pineapple? Well, his eyes were all safe and he was able to see through the covering. Otherwise, the show would never let anyone perform this dangerous act with him blindfolded and not able to see. But how was he able to see through the layers? Well, he did wrap the white gauze and the black tape followed by the foil. But there's a trick to these props. They were not secured properly around the head, and the way he put all the stuff on his eyes was just a trick. Now, Aaron's a perfect illusionist, and if you check his left-hand index finger, you can see his fingers sneaking and pulling down the blindfold. At the same moment, he wraps a silver foil around his head which conceals the finger movement underneath. So the gauze is just like an eye mask which can be lifted and back down again. But what about the outer covering of foil? Obviously, the white gauze and black tape were a perfect covering which hid his eyes and he couldn't see through. But the foil you see on his head is not an aluminum foil, but a transparent material known as silver window tint, which is mostly applied on car windows. It's a one-way reflective glass material from which he could easily see through. So, he wraps around two layers of that tint, one at the front and the other one at the back of his head. And he separated them while wrapping it around his head. And now you know it, his vision is not blocked and he can see through the blindfold and goes about cutting the objects with quite ease. But still, isn't swinging a sword above a person's head very dangerous? Well, it is, but the sword you see was a gimmick sword, which might even be just plastic. And the pineapple placed on Howie's head was pre-cut to almost 90 to 95%, and thereafter only needed a small force to slice it apart. Also, the golf-shaped metal bar to the right of his face is almost 3 inches, which means the sword would just rebound and not hurt him in case he missed his target. Finally, while removing the foil, he puts back the gauze to its original position to end this amazing act which left the audience and judges gasping for nothing. The second trick, the 56 Seconds Escape Act. Darcy Oak, the ultimate showman, performed this terrifying escape act which left everyone shocked. Here's what he did. He starts off the trick by telling everyone that he only has 56 seconds to escape the box before the burning fuse explodes the box hanging 20 feet in the air, which throws it down to the ground. And in those 56 seconds, his hands will be seen stuck out from the box, and he'll have to unlock the handcuffs as soon as possible to get out. This whole escape act inside the box will be filmed using the cameras, and the images will be shown on the screen to all the spectators around. He even calls upon the presenting duo, Ant and Dec, to confirm that the handcuffs are indeed real and not gimmicked. Thus, grabbing everyone's attention, Darcy enters the box, and he gets his hands locked up using the handcuffs. Once the door above him is closed, the box is lifted 20 feet in the air, as the 56-second timer starts. The magician tries to unlock the handcuffs and everything is filmed on big screen. Finally, the box explodes and is dropped to the ground. in a moment of suspense, he shockingly appears in the middle of the audience and is totally fine. So, from where exactly did he escape? Well, before revealing the secret, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get instant notifications of our new video uploads. Now, let's quickly get to the secret. The box in which Darcy gets inside has a built-in mechanism which forms the key part of the trick. Also, Darcy appeared far off from the stage, in between the audience. So it's obvious that the hands you see appearing out of the box all through the 56 seconds were not Darcy's, but someone else's. This confirms that there was someone already hidden inside the box, and yes, it was Darcy's assistant who replaced him after he gets inside the box. So, this raises two questions. One, when did Darcy replace his position with his assistant? And two, how did he get out? Before answering the first question, you'd even think, how did they switch positions without the hands disappearing for a few seconds? Well, if you observe carefully, before Darcy gets inside the box, only his right hand is locked up, while his left hand is still to be locked up. So once he gets inside the box, at this moment, there's his assistant who is hidden in a secret compartment inside the box. Now, this assistant also has another set of handcuffs, with only his right hand locked up. He gets up and puts his hands out of the box, pretending to be Darcy, and then the cuffs are locked together. But there's a trick there. This time around, the handcuffs are gimmicked and can easily be unlocked. Also, the black cloth you see here in the holes also conceals the view inside. Coming to the escape part, after the box is closed, Darcy has 56 seconds plus the time it takes to lift the box up to escape out and appear amongst the audience. So, before the lift, if you observe these 4 stands on which the box was placed, there's a way out from one of the stands. There's a secret passage which gets him underground, and Darcy then quickly goes to the place amongst the audience and waits for his surprise appearance. Finally, the box is